Tuesday, you did your State of the State address. Within that, you referenced eliminating the state's grocery tax. How would you address the concerns of Arkansans that want to see that relief more on the county and city levels, not just the state?
Well, right now we're trying to provide immediate relief, and the best way that we can do that is by eliminating the grocery tax on the state level. And we want to leave that decision up to county and local officials on what their needs look like. We're in a good position financially for the state to eliminate that, provide that relief. The other things we've been doing over the course of the last 2 years, of course, we've been able to cut the state income tax, not once, not twice, but 3 times, taking a full percentage point off of that, putting more money back in the pockets of hardworking Arkansans. We're always going to look for opportunities to help people as much as possible. I think one of the best ways to do that is continuing to work hard to phase out the income tax. I'm hopeful we'll be able to continue to do that over the course of the next couple of years. But right now, our immediate thing is to provide relief and help Arkansans who've been struggling at the hands of inflation caused in large part by the federal government. We are going to eliminate the grocery tax this session and provide that immediate relief.
And you reference immediate. Can we expect in the future any endorsement towards county or city officials asking them, I've made the steps or the changes in this eliminating the grocery tax? Could you do it later on over time if we see fit?
I think it's certainly worth a discussion, but again, our focus has been leading at the state level, really leaning into eliminating and working on phasing out the state income tax. I think that is the best way that we can help every single Arkansan, no matter what part of the state you live in. That's why it's been such a big priority over the course of the last 2 years. And I'm hopeful we'll continue to do that, maybe even later this year.
And staying with the grocery tax, have you considered the potential loss of millions of dollars towards state agencies like Game and Fish Commission, Parks and Tourism, if this tax is eliminated?
We have, and right now we feel very confident and very comfortable in the fact that our Parks, Heritage, and Tourism Department is doing, frankly, as well as they ever have before and have significant funding. Our tourism records have been better each month. In fact, we've broken those records every month for the last 9 months. Arkansas had over 50 million visitors last year alone. And so we feel very confident that we're in a very good financial position to be able to eliminate the groceries tax and still provide all of the services at the highest level possible.
And early on in your career, you also advocated really hard for Game and Fish to get them more funds. Is that kind of example that you're going with? They're doing fine, they're doing well, kind of pushing that agenda early on in your administration?
You know, one of the things that I think makes Arkansas so special and so unique is our outdoor natural resources. They call us the natural state for a reason. My husband and I have spent a lot of time over the course of the last 2 years promoting and telling Arkansas' story. I think that's one of the reasons our tourism is doing so well. People are finally seeing everything that Arkansas has to offer. As we continue to grow that industry and provide a lot of economic growth through our outdoor economy, it allows us to do things like eliminate the grocery tax, as well as continue to phase out the state income tax.
All right. Regarding your stance on terminating a professor or tenured teacher teaching indoctrination or woke material, why is this such a significant issue? For example, our state has already taken steps of eliminating, like the U of A has eliminated DEI offices. So why the push to keep pushing this agenda?
Well, we think that that is a great step that the University of Arkansas took, and I commend Chancellor Robinson for his leadership at the University of Arkansas, and he's doing a great job, I think, taking that school and that institution to the next level. We want to see that focus continue across the board, but what we really want to see is expanded accessibility and affordability at our institutions of higher ed. And that's where we want the focus to be, on educating, not indoctrinating. That should be the priority. We want to make sure that every student, whether they go to a 2-year or a 4-year, or they're getting a non-degree credential, is being put on a pathway to success. And by focusing on the education side, that's exactly what I think we're going to see happen here in Arkansas.
And with that term indoctrination, it can be subjective. So what would be the actual context of what that actually means or what that all entails?
One of the things that I think we have to be careful of is we never want to be a state that is teaching or pushing our kids to hate one another or hate our country. We want to support one another, and that's what we want to see take place in the classroom. And it will be left up to the individual university boards to make a determination of whether or not the state law has been violated.
And are you confident lawmakers would kind of see this side as well? I mean, we've had court cases with this and similar instances with the library bill. How confident are you that they would stand behind you on this situation?
I'm extremely confident in the great partnership that we have with members of the Arkansas legislature, and many of them have come already asking to be part of not just this piece, but the broader focus on higher education and making sure every person in the state of Arkansas has a pathway to success and opportunity in front of them.
All right. And then moving forward, you mentioned, Arkansas has a complex history when it comes to immigration. You mentioned stricter immigration laws in your State of State address. What would be your response if President-elect Donald Trump says, hey, Sarah, I need you to house or detain immigrants here? How would that work with that dynamic or situation?
I can't imagine a phone call like that ever coming from President Trump. He's been very clear what his priority is when it comes to actually securing the border and bringing law and order back to our country. I think it's one of the biggest reasons that he got reelected with such a historic and large margin. He's coming in with a major mandate because people are demanding that our border be secure and that we don't just allow drugs and other things and people to come across our border when we don't know who they are, why they're coming, or what they're going to do when they get here. And so Arkansas is going to be a great partner in that. We've already sent Arkansas Guard to the border on 2 different occasions over the course of the last 2 years to help do our part, aid our friends in Texas in securing our border. Just in the time period that our men and women were down on the border, they saw and witnessed people from 147 different countries come across our southern border. That's unacceptable. We can't allow that to happen. We finally have a president who's going to stand up and make sure our country is safe and secure, and Arkansas will be a partner in it.
Right. Okay. Last question. You told the paper there's broad support for the new prison, but there are people who are against it because they think it would be better to expand the state hospital. Since then, there are so many inmates in the hospital waiting to transfer there. What would you say to those critics of the idea of expanding the state hospital instead of bringing a new prison?
Certainly, I think that looking at different pathways and state hospital resources is an option, but that is not the case for the vast majority of people who are violent repeat offenders. Those are not people that need to go to the state hospital. They need to be in prison. And our county jails have been overcrowded for decades because of lack of space. We cannot allow people who have repeatedly committed violent crimes back into our community simply for a lack of space. Every single law enforcement agency that you meet with in the state, whether it's our county sheriffs, our city police, or our state police, will tell you one of the biggest challenges that they have in keeping the community safe is not being able to lock people up who have committed a violent crime. That's no longer going to be the case. There's broad support for it because it passed overwhelmingly in the legislature. And frankly, it was one of the things I talked about when running for governor. And I wouldn't be sitting here in this seat if the people of Arkansas not only wanted it, but frankly, were demanding that we do a better job keeping our state safe. And that's exactly what we're going to be able to do.